De-icing chemicals work by lowering the freezing point of water, allowing ice to melt even below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Their effectiveness depends much more on pavement temperatures than air temperatures. The most effective option in extreme cold is calcium chloride. It can work at pavement temperatures down to about minus 25 degrees and release heat as it dissolves, making it fast-acting. Magnesium chloride is effective to around 5 degrees and in some cases slightly colder. It's often favored because it's less corrosive and works well on concrete surfaces. The most common option, sodium chloride or rock salt, works best when pavement temperatures are above 15 to 20 degrees. Below that range, rock salt becomes much less effective. Other alternative products like potassium chloride, urea, and calcium magnesium acetate are mainly used in environmentally sensitive areas. These alternatives generally prevent ice from bonding rather than aggressively melting thick ice. Liquid deicers work immediately, while solid products must first dissolve into a brine. Choosing the right deicer improves safety and keeps industrial areas such as roads, bridges, and airports operating during winter months. So remember this when it comes to melting ice. What's on the pavement matters far more than what's in the air.